नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स साधु साधु. So today the sutta I am taking is not a very long sutta, but it is an interesting point I found because we had never I had never considered basically the point of the devas and how they pass away. We know that the devas are a spontaneous birth. Spontaneous birth means that they are not, there is not a womb in which they are there, and then out of they don't have a mother who kind of births them, but they are spontaneously appear in the deva realm. And when it is mentioned in certain suttas by the Buddha that they are appearing spontaneously in a deva realm, after their time is over, they spontaneously disappear and they appear in some other deva realm, or they may be reborn in human form also. So in Majjhima Nikaya 38, there is a word used as Gandhabba. That is the expected being, the being who is expected to be born in the womb of their mother. So then what happens is they may be born as a Gandhabba and then born as a human being. But what happens to the devas at that time is explained over here. So I'll just read the sutta. It is a very small sutta, but I find that there are some interesting points in it. So I just wanted to share. So this is Itivuttaka. So this sutta is 83. I'll share the link. I think this is a translation by Tanisaru Bhikkhu. This was said by the Blessed One, said by the Arahant. So I have heard. Monks, when a deva is about to pass away from the company of devas, 5 omens appear. His garlands wither. So the devas apparently are wearing garlands. So one of the things we kind of saw when we were kids in India was a lot of drama about devas and all those mythological, but they were Hindu kind of point of view, and they would always have the garlands. And I thought that this was just a choice they made, of the garlands. One of the reasons I thought about just now was when you wear a garland, then the smell, the good smell, you can always smell the good smell. So maybe that is the reason the devas have the garlands. So this garland which is there, they start to wither away. It means they start to kind of, they may be eternally fresh, but now they try to wither away. And the flowers may be becoming old. His clothes get soiled. One other thing about the devas is I never thought about was the devas wearing clothes. They have fine material body, so they also may be having fine material clothes which the devas were wearing. So they get soiled, maybe they get dirty. They don't remain as clean as they always were. Sweat comes out of his armpits. So sweat starts coming out of his armpits. Once I was discussing with Paul, I think so, and he said that somewhere he read that the devas start smelling. So maybe this is also the thing about they start kind of sweating, and thus they also smell. So they are foul smelling after some time. A dullness descends on his body. So if there is any radiance to the body, then that radiance starts to dull. He no longer delights in his own deva-seat. So when the deva is there, they have a seat which is assigned to them. But one other translation I have found is deva mansion. So this Deva mansion is also a concept which is there very prominent in Buddhist societies. Thailand, I remember that there was one sect which was very much focused on dana. And they would say that if you pay this much, you will have this bungalow over there, Deva mansion over there. If you pay us this much, then you will get this mansion. And I saw this ad for Deva mansions on a subway, like their metro. And I was seeing this cartoon things and everything, and I could not understand it was in Thai. So I was speaking to some other monk and said, I saw this thing, what is happening? So he said, no, no, they are a sect which kind of sell this Deva mansion. They sell this concept. So this is the deva-seat which is there. So he does not delight in the deva-seat. So those are the 5 omens which are presented and the other devas recognize. When the other devas recognize, they go to the deva. The devas, knowing that from this, that this deva son is about to pass away, encourage him with 3 sayings. Go from here, honorable sir. Go to a good destination. So one is that they say that go to a good destination. They ask him to go and they wish for him to go to a good destination. Having gone to a good destination, gain the gain that is good to gain. So when you are there in the good destination, then you gain what is good to gain. And having gained the gain that is good to gain, become well established in. So even when you are have something which is good to gain, you have to become established in that what is good to gain. So then when this was said, a certain monk said to the Blessed One, what Lord is the Devas' reckoning of going to a good destination? What is their reckoning of the gain that is good to gain? What is their reckoning of becoming well established? So there is a curiosity about what is, it is not very well specified. So they ask the Buddha. And that is the reason the remaining or the appearance of Buddha is so important, because then those things which are there, you can ask and clarify from the Buddha. And one other thing the Buddha says is, when he knows and he says he knows that. When he says he sees that. So he is promising that whatever is he saying is what it is, the reality. The human state monks is the devas' reckoning of going to a good destination. So when the devas want to go to a good destination, they refer to humans. And when human wants to go to a good destination, they say, let me be born in the deva realms. Because in the human realm, there are some things possible which are not possible, generally considered not possible, because there is a balance of pleasure and pain in the human realm. So you can fully experience the pain and fully experience the pleasure, but there is a balance of that. But in the Deva realms, it is exclusively pleasurable. When you go to the hell realms, it is exclusively painful. So the balance of mind is difficult to establish, but it does not mean that then there is a general understanding that you should not be born in the Deva realms, only human realms. That is also not correct. Because when the Buddha was there, many of the Devas used to come. And I was surprised that when I started reading Samyutta Nikaya, I started from the first page and started reading. And all the suttas were about Devas coming to the Buddha and speaking to him, or Devas coming to a Buddha and asking advice, or Devas coming and proclaiming their understanding. And many of the cases, the Buddha agreed with the Devas that what you say is correct. So in this realm, there is a possibility of the development of mind. So Sotapanna and Sakdagami, these are the 2 states of mind or attainments of awakening, which is possible in the Deva realms. But that has to be there when the Buddha is there and Buddha is teaching. So having become a human being, acquiring conviction in the Dhamma and Vinaya taught by the Tathagata, this is the Deva's reckoning of the gain that is good to gain. So when a Deva is born, they say that go to a human realm. When you are gone to the human realm, kind of learn Dhamma and Vinaya, what the Buddha is teaching. Vinaya can be also considered to be precepts. So if you are a lay person, then the 5 precepts are the precepts you have to keep. Certain times, certain lay people do keep 8 precepts also, but that is not necessary. it is maybe difficult for you to keep the 8 precepts, and certain times there may be conflicts also. And in my kind of experience, that was a difficult thing to do, because when I left Vatmananachat and came back, I had decided to stay on the 8 precepts. I did stay there on the 8 precepts for, I think, 3 or 4 months, but it was becoming difficult, because when you go to somebody's place, or when there is a birthday party and somebody is offering you a cake or something like that, then it becomes very awkward. So it is 5 precepts is what the Buddha is talking about, and 5 precepts is what you should be striving for. So that is the Dhamma and Vinaya. This is the Devas reckoning of the gain that is good to gain. When that conviction is settled within one, rooted, established and strong. So that conviction of the Dhamma and Vinaya is settled, rooted, established and strong, not to be destroyed by any Brahman or contemplative, Deva, Mara or Brahma, or anyone else in the world. This is the Deva's reckoning of becoming well established. This is that if somebody wants to kind of shake your confidence or shake your faith, then they are not able to shake your faith, because you are well established in this concept. So you understand the concepts of Vinaya, you understand the concept of the precepts, and you follow the precepts. And that is what the Devas are wanting. Now, one other thing which you can see is that when you are becoming well established, it is something like a sotapanna, when it is unshakable, and you cannot fall back further down. So when you are becoming established in the Dhamma and Vinaya, then what happens is, just having faith in the Dhamma can lead you to become a Sotapanna. Just having faith in the Buddha can lead you to become a Sotapanna. Just having faith in the Sangha, plus having the precepts. You keep the precept plus have the faith in the Buddha or the Dhamma or the Sangha, then it can lead you to become a Sotapanna. And the other is you are established in generosity. So that is also mentioned. So we'll read further. Now, when this was said, then the Buddha gives some verses which are called Udayana, which are the spontaneously joyful utterances which the Buddha gives. When a Deva passes away from the company of Devas, through his lifespan's ending, 3 sounds sound forth. The Devas encourage, go from here, honorable sir, to a good destination, to companionship with human beings. On becoming a human being, acquire a conviction unsurpassed in true Dhamma. That conviction of yours in true Dhamma, well taught, should be settled, rooted, established, undestroyed as long as you live. Having abandoned bodily misconduct, verbal misconduct, mental misconduct, and whatever else is flawed. So now this is also what the precepts are there. So there are all misconducts which are there are covered in the precepts: not to kill, not to steal, not to have misconduct, not to have bad speech, that is not to have speech which is false, not to have speech which established a kind of enmity between two groups, not to have speech which is frivolous, pointless speech, and not to have speech which is harsh. So all the speech is there. And then there is also not to have intoxicants, anything which dulls the mind. So whatever is flawed is to be abandoned. Having done with the body what's skillful, and much that is skillful with speech, and having done what is skillful with a heart without limit. A heart without limit means when you are established in Brahma Viharas. So Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekha are the boundless or the limitless heart or the mind. So heart and minds are used in a interchangeably in many of the teachings. So the heart is used mostly in Thai, and I think Tanisara Bhikkhu is also from Thai tradition. So they use the word heart, but you can also replace it with mind, and that would also be working. Mind without limit. and boundless mind. That is what Bhante used to say. Boundless mind and the limitless mind are the Brahmavihara states. So that is when you are established in practice, then that Brahmavihara practice is kind of suggested with no acquisitions. No acquisitions means there is not a mind of acquiring things, but of relinquishment. Then, having made much of the merit that's a ground for spontaneously arising in heaven, through giving, establish other mortals in true Dhamma and holy life. So you have to give and also promote the Dhamma and kind of establish other people in the holy life. So that is like supporting the Sangha. With this sympathy, the Devas, when they know a Deva is passing away, encourage him, come back Deva, again and again. So the Devas encourage them to come back to the Deva realm. But when a person is getting established in the Buddha's dispensation and Buddha's teaching, then he opens up also a possibility of becoming a Sotapanna, Sakdagami, or an Anagami as a lay person, and as a Arahant if he is in the Sangha. So that is something which a person can strive for. So when I was reading this sutta, it kind of gave me an understanding of what is happening in the Deva Ram. But I wanted to know what is about the Deva Rams also. So I just read a little bit about, and so there is a chart. I can share this chart also with you. It is a chart about the cosmos of Buddhist cosmos. So can I share? Can you give me the permission to share the screen? I'll just try and share the screen.
Bhante, you cannot share?
I did not. I will not try. I'll try.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll just try. Okay. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. So when we are talking about the devas, then let us just talk about the different kinds of devas. So Manusaloka is the world of humans. Okay. But it is interesting for me that this whole deva realms and the human realms come into one kind of category, planes of happiness connected with desires. So devas are also connected with desires. That is something where ignorance is there with the devas, and they also are connected with this craving and attachment. So above the Manusa Loka is the Chatu Maharajika Loka. So it includes the earthbound devas. And above the Chatu Maharajika, there is Tavatimsa, the heaven of the 33. So there is one Saka, and then there are 32 of his other devas who govern this realm. And they also are the governing body for the Chatu Maharajika. So in one of the suttas, it is mentioned about Tavatimsa Deva, the Saka coming and meeting the Chatu Maharajika Deva. And they are having a kind of discussion about certain things. So they, I think, are the governing of the Chatu Maharajika also. Tavatimsa Deva is an interesting story for that also. They said that when there was no Buddha era, there were a group of 33 friends who said that they will follow the 4 precepts. Why the 4 precepts? Because the Buddha gives the precepts of the alcohol or the intoxicants, because Buddha understands the importance of the mind and how this mind, by dulling the mind with alcohol or intoxicants, it can become less effective for you to practice the meditation. So that is the reason they had only followed the 4 precepts. And because they were so good at following these 4 precepts, they had accumulated a lot of merit. So when it was time for them to pass away, there was no heaven to match their merit. So there was a heaven made, because there was Chatu Maharajika Deva Loka and the Yama Loka. So they had to establish a new Deva Loka, which is the heaven of the 33. There is a sutta which mentions this fact. So that's an interesting fact about the Tavatimsa. Above the Tavatimsa Deva, there is a Yama Deva Loka. And above the Yama Loka Deva, there is Tusita. Tusita is also an interesting place where the Bodhisattva will be born before he is established as a Buddha on earth. So currently there would be one Bodhisattva, Buddha, I think Bodhisattva Maitreya, who would be the future Buddha Maitreya. So he is there in Tawatimsa. So there is a lot of stories in monks when they're in Thailand. They talk about, oh, I go to this Devaloka, I visit that Devaloka. So some monks will say, oh, I visited Tusita Devaloka and I saw the Bodhisattva doing meditation or something like that. So there's a lot of talk. I'm not sure they're correct or they actually do that. But the monks like to talk like this, at least in Thailand. So above that, there is Nimmana Rati. So Nimmana Rati is, they are the devas who enjoy in the things they have made. So they create something and they enjoy it. Say if they want to enjoy a meal, so they can create that meal and then they can enjoy that. They want to enjoy a view. So they can create that view and enjoy that view. So that they are the devas who can create. And then there is Paranimitta Vasavati, who enjoy the things created by the other devas, which is the interesting part that they don't create anything, but they can enjoy from the others. So these are the planes of Devarams. Above this are, you require meditation. These are Brahmalokas. So first jhana, there are 3 Devalokas. So Brahmalokas. So if you are just a minor degree of understanding or the medium degree of understanding or higher degree of understanding, you will go to the Brahmaloka corresponding to that. Then there is second jhana Devalokas, sorry, Brahmalokas, third jhana Brahmaloka, and fourth jhana Brahmaloka. In this fourth jhana Brahmaloka, there is also Suddha Vasa, which are pure abodes, which is called the non-returner. When an Anagami passes away, he goes and stays over here, and they will stay there for different varying degrees of time based on how much understanding they have and how much attachment they have. So it can be that they can stay in just the one first Devaloka, or the second Devaloka, or the third Devaloka, sorry, Brahmaloka, or the fourth or the fifth, based on how much of the understanding they have created. Then above that there is a Arupa Loka. Arupa Loka, there is no physical, not even the fine physical body. Only the mind is there. When a person is established in the Arupa Jhanas, but this is not the Arupa Jhanas of the Buddha, because in another sutta in Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha is clearly stating that if you are doing the meditation as per my teaching, then you will not go to the Arupa Lokas. You'll be born in the Devalokas or the Brahma Lokas, and based on that, you will be developing your mind further over there. So this is only for, like Bhante used to say, one-pointed concentration, or other means by which they used to go to the Arupa. So as Buddha started his training, he went to Alara Kalama and Uddaka Ramaputta. They used to do nothingness, and Uddaka Ramaputta used to teach about neither perception or non-perception. So there are Arupa Lokas are there. So there is Arupa Loka corresponding to the infinite space, infinite consciousness, sphere of nothingness, and sphere of neither perception or non-perception. So these are the things where a person will go if they are established. And one of the things about this, the dark truth of this realms are that when you are going to this realm, you will be staying there for a long time. That is 20,000 Mahakapa, or 40,000 Mahakapa, 60,000 Mahakapa, or 84,000 Mahakapas. But when that time is over, Mahakapa is one Big Bang time. From the time the universe expands, it stays still, then comes back, stays still, So each part is called asankhya. It is uncountable. And now 20,000 Mahakapas or the 84,000 Mahakapas if you are staying. After that, you are directly born in hell because it is like using up your bank balance, and then your bank balance is used up, you are kind of in debt. So you go to directly to jail. So then you are reborn in hell, and then you have to start your journey once again. When you are reborn in hell, it is very difficult for you to become a human. It takes a lot of effort to come back to human birth. And that is the dark side of the Arupa Loka, that you may enjoy kind of the ultimate bliss for a long time, but you will have to ultimately come back. So this is a very good explanation of the 35 planes of existence. I am not sure where the acknowledgement is there, who has made it, but I'll share this image. Okay. I have to maybe, okay, I'll just try and share this. So if you want, you can also download and keep this. So this is an interesting sutta, I think, about uh, the impermanence of each kind of place where you are there. Oh. Jay, you are sharing a screen, something? Somebody, I think you are Jay, you are sharing the screen, I think so, your desktop.
Is it stopped now? Not yet?
No.
Oh, sorry.
I think by error, I think you wanted to go over there.
I don't know what to do now.
I don't know. I think, I think it is gone. Okay. So one of the things which is very interesting is that the impermanence which this sutta is kind of showing, that the beings are born in the Deva realms, but then there is a aging and death process also, which is there in the Deva realms. Because the common understanding is that that is the ultimate. You go to the Deva realms and you go to heaven, and then you stay eternally in heaven. Or whenever in India, at least you wish that the other person should be reborn in heaven. Or if a person is died, he said, oh, he has become a heaven dweller. So Swargvasi. So he has become a dweller of the in the heaven. So, but that is also there also the what a person or a being is born can stay there for a while, and then there is a aging and death process, and then there is a also lamentation, sorrow is there, because people come and kind of counsel you and say, okay, go to the human realm. And when you are going to the human realm, go to the teaching of the Buddha and then get established well, do good things, and then get back over here. So there is also a craving for coming back. So all those things are being mentioned by the Buddha in this very kind of short sutta. But that is what I like about those suttas, where not many people are reading them, because I found that in my years of reading and my years of listening to the Dhamma talks, there are many suttas where many interesting things have been told, have missed out, because they are not told, because they are not very profound, or they are not very kind of groundbreaking. But this small understandings kind of shape our understanding of the overall the teaching of the Buddha, and how he was shaping and how the universe is there as per the Buddha's understanding, and what the Buddha was kind of trying to share us. So this is a very interesting part in this suttas, which I find. And I'll be kind of sharing more also about those kind of odd suttas rather than kind of go through the meditation part itself. So we'll be keep on sharing this. So now if there are any questions, we are open for questions. One other, I always thought it is strange that they wear clothes. That is correct. And I'll tell you about Dhammagavesi. Dhammagavesi was a monk in Malaysia. He used to only read exclusively from the suttas and explain the suttas. His audios are available when you go to Malaysia as SD cards or pen drives. They give you away free. You go to any Buddhist shop, there will be a box over there with SD cards. And you can just take those SD card and the whole series that is Itivuttaka would be there. Basically, he has read all the suttas. And one of the times he was talking about, he was meditating in a cave. After he came back from US, he was there in the city of the 10,000 Buddhas. He was in Mahayana, then he switched and came back and became a Theravada monk, and then he went to a cave and was meditating. And when he was meditating, he heard some whispers happening. And when he saw up, he saw that there were some very well-dressed people, heavenly beings. And he called them Devas. He said, I saw Devas over there. And he said that they were dressed in Indian dresses. He said they were looking very young and they were very kind of radiant. So then he thought that they may be kind of concerned about him being in the cave. So then he prayed to them and said that I am over here just to meditate. I will not disturb anything. And then those devas disappeared. So that is also an interesting point that Dhammagavesi made, was that the devas were wearing dresses, but they were wearing the Indian kind of dresses. So he said that is an interesting point, because Malaysia also has a very good Indian influence. You know, there is a lot of South Indian population, temples, and they have this very elaborate sculptures which are there on the temples. South Indians temples have a very kind of a visual look. So he was influenced by that also. So that is an interesting point. So any other questions?
Bhante, Bhante, I have a question. Excuse me. So just now, Bhante, you mentioned those beings that are in the Arupa Loka. So once their merits are extinguished, then they drop to the lower realm. Is it because in the Arupa Loka planes or realms, there is no opportunity to create merit? I see, I see.
One is that there's no opportunity to create merit. Second is that they are using up whatever merit they have made. They are staying there 84,000 or 20,000 Mahakapas, which is a very, very long time. Yes, they have no opportunity to make merit, and whatever is there, they have used up. But this is only in the case when they are doing the meditation according to some other understanding, not according to the Buddha's understanding. When you are doing meditation with the Buddha's understanding, there is an understanding of impermanence. There is an understanding of dukkha. There is understanding impersonality or anatta.
Yeah, yeah.
So now when you're doing this meditation with this understanding, then you will not be born in the Arupa Lokas. You'll be born in the corresponding Brahmaloka. And from Brahmaloka, you will develop your mind, and then you may be reborn in the maybe the Suddha Lokas. And from there, you may become an Arahant. So that is what the Buddha is saying. So he says that do not be afraid of those things. So there is one other concept about being afraid of the jhanas. Or don't do jhana practice, because if you do jhana practice, you may be reborn in Arupaloka, and then you're lost. When you lost, then then whatever you have done is being for a waste. But the Buddha says no, that is not the case. And that understanding is there in Anguttara Nikaya. We had shared that suttas also.
Mm.
Buddha clearly says that when you are doing it as per my understanding and my instructions, then you will be reborn over in the Devaloka. If you do not get established over here in this, even if you are not even a Sotapanna, but you are established even in the first jhana. But you have to be well established in the first jhana. That whenever you want that jhana, you can get that jhana. Whenever you wish to enter the jhana, you can enter the jhana, and you are habitual to the jhana. So when you are so kind of habitual to this mind state, then when you pass away, then you go to a heavenly realm corresponding to your jhanic experience. And then what would happen is you will develop further.
So Bhante, the Rupa Lokas, based on the habitual tendency in the jhanas, let's say, in the last, we're talking about the last stage, right? Towards the dying process, right? The last moment. So if that habitual tendency is well established and the person is reborn in one of the Rupa Lokas, then here it's so am I correct that from here on it can only be anyone that lands in the Rupa Loka, from there on it can only be, what did they say? Because it's accessible only to Anagami and Arahant. Huh?
That is Suddha Lokas. That are the only the that are the 5 planes, which are the 5 Brahma Lokas. The topmost. Those are only Anagamis.
Anagami, right? So here it says accessible only to non-returners, Anagamis, and Arahants. But that's not right, because if one is an Arahant, then you're not within the 31 planes.
So what happens is, if you are a resident of the Suddha Loka, and over there you become an Arahant, and then you have
Not before. Okay.
not
Oh.
when you are then you have this lifespan, say of a few whatever Mahakapas or whatever is there, then you stay there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I think I understand. So that means anyone who is Bhante, coming back to when you say if a person is well established in the very strongly the habitual tendency of going into the first jhana as and when they wish, then is it equivalent to saying that they are anagami, because then they would go into this? Is
One way
that?
of one way of looking at it is, but they are not basically what happens is they have to do it with the Buddha's understanding, which is of impermanence, of dukkha, personality. And when they are established in that meditation, they will be reborn, but they have to again develop or their mind over there. When they have this understanding and training, then it is easier for them to kind of be not distracted with these pleasures and development of the mind, and further kind of develop their understanding.
Okay. So then anyone who haven't reached that level of well establishment in that habitual tendency can possibly, well, if they are at least Sotapanna level, can possibly be anywhere from Manusa Loka to number 11.
Correct.
Ah.
So what happens is that if you are a Sotapanna, that Sotapanna can be you have faith in the Buddha, you have faith in Dhamma, or you have faith in the Sangha, or you have faith in 3 of them, or you are establishing generosity. So you are well generous and you are being generous whenever is possible, and you have precept. So it is like this is like the precepts. Precepts is the foundation. Based on this foundation, if you have faith in the Buddha, Then also the Buddha says that you can consider yourself a Sotapanna, or faith in the Dhamma, or faith in the Sangha, or faith in Buddha Dhamma Sangha, or are established in generosity. There are one or two other options also. One is you accept the teaching reflectively, or you contemplate the teaching. So you are establishing precepts and you contemplate on the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. That is Itipiso. The good qualities of the Buddha, the good qualities of the Dhamma, the good qualities of the Sangha. Then also you can consider yourself, you can declare yourself a Sotapanna. That is what the Buddha says. That means that you
Okay.
don't have to get any external validation. What the Buddha is saying, that you do the right thing and then that right thing only will take you forward. There's no external validation which is required for you to become a Sotapanna or a Sabdagami or an. Yeah, it is your understanding, and how your understanding develops takes you over there.
Bhante, I have another question just based on what you just said. You know, I'm wondering, is there like a sutta or a group of suttas in the Tipitaka that explains in detail what real faith in the Buddha, faith in Dhamma, faith in Sangha? So I'm looking for something like, you know, Bhante, in the Majjhima Nikaya, you know, when the Buddha explains what is suffering, right? There's one sutta, I cannot remember the number, where he goes into very detail, you know, like you know, the birth is suffering, death is suffering, sorrow, whatever. But he goes into each category in detail in the Majjhima Nikaya. So I'm wondering whether is there like, you know, something similar structure, but very in detail. What is faith in the Buddha, faith in the Dhamma? I mean, not for today, but I'm just wondering, is there something
There
similar?
is, I have also read on our Zoom, which was about the Buddha is talking about what are the Sotapannas and what are the different categories where a person can become a Sotapanna. But the faith, I think, is the Itipiso, what the Buddha is talking about, is when you are having the faith about the Buddha as per the qualities of the Buddha. And then if you are talking about the Dhamma, the qualities of the Dhamma, Sandikto, Kaliko, Ehipasiko, Panaiko. So that those things you are established in that you understand each of this and say, okay, this is I have faith in that. And very kind of simple factor, but it is about our understanding of those things which twist our kind of understanding, which bend our mind to that direction. And when you are bent into that direction, then eventually you will reach. Like I quote this monk's example, that is, there is a tanker ship going in the sea, and if he wants to kind of turn, then it takes a long time. But when he does the 1 degree turn, it will eventually make a 180-degree turn. Start off with the understanding of the Buddha. Like one understanding of the Buddha which I like is not the Buddha as a person, not Siddhartha Gautama, but Buddha as awakened one. So if you understand that there is an awakening possible, then you will do the effort. No, if there is an exam and they say that there is nobody who is going to pass, so who is going to give that exam? Is there anybody? No, but the exam, when it is given, there is a merit list, there is a pass list, there is a fail list. So there is a, okay, there is a exam where there is a possibility if I work hard and kind of do studies, then I'll be able to pass. Maybe I'll be in a merit list, or I'll be the kind of the first category, A lister or B lister. But I'll have certain things. So if you think that there is this exam where there's nobody going to pass, then you're never going to study for it. The establishment of faith means that you are kind of have the direction. So one other interesting example of a Sotapanna is given by the Buddha. And Buddha's similes are very kind of fantastic. So this is about a person, he is in the ocean and he is floating. And when he is floating in the ocean, there is one possibility that he keeps floating. So he is born in the Devaloka or in the human realm. And then there is one person who kind of drowns. Then he's going to the lower realms of the petas or the kind of the animals or the hungry ghosts or the asuras. He's going down. Then he sees an island over there. So that is a Sotapanna. So he's in an ocean, he's floating, and then he sees an island. So that's a Sotapanna. So then he knows where to go. So he starts swimming towards that. That is a Sakadagami. So he starts making his efforts to reach to the island. And then the Anagami, he says that he reaches the island, but he is wading through the waters. He touches the ground on the sand and he's wading through the waters. That is a Anagami. Now he is not going to return to the ocean because he has touched the ground. So he is now wading through the waters, and the Arahant is a person who is sitting in the island and he is relaxed. Now he is not worried. So that is the kind of the thing. So the Sotapanna is one who sees the goal. So that faith directs him to where he wants to go. So when you have this thing, then you can apply energy. When you have chanda, means desire is there, then you can apply energy. When you apply energy, you can apply your mind. When the application of mind is there is investigation in that. So that is how any kind of task can be achieved by application of the desire, energy, mind, and investigation. The 5 powers are also the same thing, 5 powers of 5 faculties. You have faith. Only when you have faith in the Buddha or the Dhamma or Sangha, you'll strive. Then you put energy. Then you put your collectedness, that mindfulness you put. When you put your mindfulness, you have collected mind, and then you have the wisdom. You develop the wisdom. So that is how the goal which is there is through the faith. The starting point is through the faith. Faith is knowing that certain thing is possible. It is not a blind faith. The faith in Buddhas is the conviction is also something translated as conviction. Shraddha is translated conviction. And one other translation is confidence. So when a person has confidence, then he will act in that particular manner. So it is all about my mind, and it is all about individual. So there is no external things in that sense also. And the Buddha says that in the first sermon, I think Goenkaji mentioned it, in the first sermon when the Buddha is giving the first sermon, only one becomes a Sotapanna. If the Buddha was the one who could make you awakened, then he would have made all the 5 Arahants in the first sermon. But no, only one gets established. But then there is another sutta where they all practice, and then sometimes they say that 3 people go for arms around and 2 stay back. Sometimes 2 people go from arms around and other people stay back. And then they keep practicing it until they become arahants. And after that, the journey starts about acquiring other lay followers and all those things. So there is a element of individual effort, individual kind of understanding. And that understanding starts with the confidence that this is possible. There is a result which is possible. And when the result is possible, there is effort put in. There is the energy comes up. So from faith, energy is developed. Then faith is there, then mindfulness is there, then concentration or collectedness, then wisdom. So in that way, it progresses.
Thank you, Bhante. I have another question. So quite often when we see this diagram of the 31 planes, we always tend to see like it's like a pyramid structure. I always wonder, is it because like the lower realms, the number of beings in the lower realms are more and the number of beings in the higher realms are less? Is that a depiction or not really?
I don't think, but one thing the Buddha said in one of the suttas is that the amount of beings in this world is incomprehensible. So,
Mm,
term could be one being technically. So
mm,
that is incomprehensible that the amount of beings which are there in this world. So we can, I would not guess, and I think it would not matter also that
mm.
the beings which are there. But I think heavenly, my guess would be that heaven would have more beings because there the time period where they are there are more. So if you consider our 9 billion and 8 billion people who are there, and the amount of animals and these things are there in this earth, would be very fraction of what would be there. That would be my guess.
Okay, okay. One more question, Bhante. Last question for today. The plane number 11, right? So so between all the pink ones from 5 to 11, there's
Correct.
still opportunity to create merit. Because when the pink ones is not the purple one. The purple one is anagami
I think
only.
it is
Yeah.
more kind of associated with the human realm. I have not heard or I am not an expert in this, but I think merit is
Uh,
more about human realm rather than the merit being created on the deva realms.
the Deva realms. Okay. I'm just kind of wondering whether that's also related to, we just read the sutta where the Devas say it's good to go to a human realm because then we can create merit. And like suppose I'm in realm number 11 and I don't know what my merit bank is. If I don't have opportunity to create well, I mean, I guess some of the Deva realms have opportunity to create merit, like when they want to help in prolonging the Buddha's dispensation, or I don't know, some people talk about like, they have guardian angels and stuff like that. So I guess that is a form of creating merit as well in those realms, correct?
That could be. One of the things about the Buddha's advice about one of the things which is there in India currently still is that they have this personal deity. So in one of the sutta, the Buddha says that should not abandon your personal deity. You should still give offerings to that personal deity and kind of give them respect. So that's an interesting thing I found. I thought those are superstitions,
Uh,
but then the sutta I read, I said, "Oh, this is Ishtadev," they call it in India. So there are in my kind of town in Gujarat, there are many temples just next to our dwelling area. Say maybe 100 meters. There are temples over there which are individual family temples. The temples are only opened when the family is there.
oh, ha, 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 ha.
Most
Okay,
important.
okay. So Bante, then is sharing merits with them considered not abandoning them? Is
No,
that
no.
no?
Sharing the,
Yeah. Yes,
yeah,
yes, Bante.
brief and when you are sharing merits, see, whenever you are doing any kind of dana, when you are sharing merits, you are sharing merit with your relatives. That is called, okay, natio. So that is relative. So now what the Buddha says is when you do a act of merit for sharing merit also, the first beneficiary are you. You are the first beneficiary of that act of merit. When you share this merit, it is not about like sharing a kind of a bowl of rice and you give away some rice. It is like sharing light. When you have one candle and you share this candle, then it becomes more. So sharing merit is also merit. And somebody is making merit and you say anumodana, that is also merit. You are happy for somebody else, that is mudita. That is also making merit. So that's the reason anumodana is said whenever is there. And whenever it is given to monks also, monks don't say thank you, but they say anumodana, because they are saying that I am rejoicing in the merit you are making. So making this donation as a sangha donation, which is the highest merit.
Okay. Okay. So from the Buddha's point of view, from that sutta where he said to not abandon the family deities or guardian deities, what should be done in order not to abandon them?
See, what was the previously what you are doing? Like if you are offering flowers and doing puja or something like that, then you can continue doing that. That does not mean that you are not you are taking them as a path to awakening. That is, would be Silapata Paramasa, would be you consider that action as leading to awakening, which is a wrong understanding. But it is like when if there is something which you are doing to kind of please the deity, then you can keep doing that, because when you are in earth, then you require those energies also.
Okay.
Example I'll give you is that it is considered that Anatha Pindika became bankrupt. And that this is a commentary, this is not a sutta, but there is a commentary to a sutta. So a commentary says that when Anatha Pindika became bankrupt, they kind of inquired with the Buddha, why did Anatha Pindika become bankrupt? So Buddha said that there is a deity over there in the Anatha Pindika's house who became jealous that he is paying more attention to the Buddha rather than him. So then Anatha Pindika goes and kind of explains to the deity that what are the qualities of the Buddha and why he has to kind of. So then he becomes very kind of happy and says that, okay, I made a mistake. Now you go over there in this place, there is is an abandoned wealth which is there. You can go and get that wealth. So then Anatha Pindika again becomes wealthy. So that is one way of looking at it.
Oh, okay.
In Chinese culture, I think when they are kind of worshipping their ancestors, I think this one of the things in the suttas where when the ancestor is becomes a deva, they still care for you. So there are a few suttas where this happens, like Bahaya Sutta, the deity, the deva comes and says that you are not arahant, go and seek teaching. That is was a relative of this Bahaya. Okay. And then there is one sutta where the monk goes and smells a lotus after his meal. He likes the lotus smell. So the Buddha says, the Deva comes and says, that would be like stealing the smell. So don't get involved with the smell also. And then he stops that and becomes an arahant. So those are there are instances where Deva comes and guides the people because they are still attached to them. You see? Process is about also like having a Ishtadev.
Okay, interesting.
So there are interesting things you can find by reading the suttas. I would recommend reading from first page to the end, not to kind of read through what are the important suttas and something like that. First, there are many things interesting just by the when there is a prelude happening or the end happening. So in the end lines also you can get some information which was really enlightening for me. One was the sutta where the Buddha defeats somebody in debate. This sutta Bhante takes a lot. Then after the debate, he is offered food. So he asked his followers, "Oh, followers, bring me the requisite things. I will make food for the Sangha." So they give him some food. He prepares it and gives it to the Buddha. So he asked him, "What is the merit I make, and what are the merit my followers make from giving this dana?" So the Buddha says the merit the followers will make is giving to a lay person, because they gave it to you, and you will make the merit of giving to a Sangha, because you offer to the Sangha. So then this is a very clear sign that there is no kind of by osmosis gaining of merit and demerit. Certain times we say that there is a by osmosis you are gaining demerit. Like if you something like if alcohol is there and you kind of abandon that alcohol, then that person drinks the alcohol and is in an accident and kills somebody, then you by osmosis are responsible for the death of this. That
Oh.
by osmosis, like you give somebody a car and then he goes into an accident, and because you gave the car, that is not the case. Your merit or demerit is just because you are gave the car to that person. You are not responsible for his actions. So that is a question over there. So that is a very interesting thing, which is you can learn from reading those suttas and clarify those things, because I think that there is too much emphasis given on generalities, and then there are many people who have very general ideas about general things, and then they say, I got this idea from this group of people, I got an idea from this philosophy. But I think Buddha's practice is in whole in itself. When you and say it is complete in all aspects, when you kind of learn and kind of follow, then it is generally about your actions and how your actions will lead to other actions, and your understanding will lead to your actions. So how do I develop my understanding? So it is a very simple thing. Teaching is that you develop your understanding. Based on your understanding, your actions will be there. Based on your actions, your understanding will again improve, and then this will be a virtuous cycle.
Thank you, Bhante.
Any other questions? Any other person?
Well, hello. Yes, I don't think so much as a question, but it's an interesting sort of point which you don't see often in the suttas. I think I found only like 2 instances where there is talked about the stage way before someone or like the first maybe say impetus towards enlightenment. So I have only found like 2 instances so far, and one was in the Therigatha, one nun, Arhat nun, who says, "Oh, I owe my becoming an Arhat nun under this Buddha because a way back I made a donation," and so she and then in the Therigatha says, "Okay, I went to this Devaloka, and then reappeared as a human in the Buddha, in the Buddha's dispensation." And the other one is an interesting one of the horse of the Buddha. Maybe it's like the Vimanavatu story, who says, I think this is perhaps the I think an interesting point. So he rejoices, as an animal, rejoiced in, okay, well, I'm doing a good service towards my master, and then this is like the seed of merit, which as a deva he can see, okay, this is a seed of merit that will eventually lead to that goal, like so. Yes, this is like there are like few interesting stories dotted all over, but they're sometimes hard to find if you're looking.
There are many, like Aniruddha, when he is asked why were you interested in this 10,000 seeing the 10,000 kind of world systems. He had a divine eye. So he said that in many lifetimes before, he saw a disciple of the Buddha who had the ability and a divine eye to see 10,000 world systems. So he was inspired by that. And Sariputta and Moggallana both have this similar story, that they had met a disciple of the Buddha who was the right-hand disciple and the left-hand disciple, and they got inspired by that. And they took a lot of lifetimes. There is a story about Buddha himself, where Buddha, he is a Brahmin, and when he sees a Buddha coming, he is very inspired by that. And then there is a puddle of water which is there. So he says, I don't want him to wet his feet. So he lies down on the puddle of water and asks him to ask the Buddha to walk over his body. When the Buddha walks over the body, and he is very happy and he blesses. So that becomes his start for the journey. So then later on, he is brought to the Buddha and he gets inspired to be a Buddha. But that was the kind of the start of the journey where he started and was inspired. So there are many stories of Arahants, and Theragata is one of the things I have not still read. The whole, I have the books, but I have not read that. So I appreciate her reading, because Sister Kema also kind of wanted to kind of read those stories. So there's a lot of inspiration. Like one of the things in the Theragata and Theragata is that many of the Arahants become awakened while walking. They become Arahants while they are walking. So that is also an interesting point, that walking meditation and the importance Bhante used to say, that you can be in jhanas, where the general understanding currently is that you cannot be in jhanas when walking. But they actually have cessation experience while walking. So there's a lot to learn from the examples. So that's good. So I think, Nanda, you have joined us late. I think the time difference is there. I think there is a daylight saving time. So you would have to, I think, check with India time and to join. So I think we are done as of now with this talk, unless there is any question anybody has. Okay, I think there's no questions. So I think I would request you to see the recording later on. I'm sorry, but I think I'll have to also end. It is more than an hour now. So I'll share the merits. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear-struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensations. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And see you later.
Thank you, Bhante. Bye.